So I mean, so you because did you then think, well, you can't go back on stage on your own, so they needed to bring in others? Or did you just think, you know, what, did you think of quitting, or what was?
Well, not at that point. Because visually it wouldn't be right. Like, you know, you just got me and Heavy. I'm dancing by myself. That didn't look right. So we needed something else. We needed the girls to come in and kind of, you know, and then I work with those girls, and it was great. It was great. They were professionals. They were great, and they, you know, I don't want to say they came from the school of Rosie, but you know, they understood it. They understood what it was and what it needed to be, and we did it. We did it. There's a, you know, a couple things out with me, like MTV Awards. I want to say Arsenio Hall, but we did a bunch of stuff, and it was nice. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
But in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I need to start reflecting on what's next. Was that when you start after? Because the Peaceful Journey was another big album because you had
Yeah.
nothing but Now That I've Found Love,
Yeah.
which was a big global hit. Um,
Yes. Yes.
um,
Big record.
and yeah, even Is It Good to You? So I mean, the album actually, I think that was the first CD I actually bought. You know, the other times, you know, you're listening, but
It
this
was
is
a,
when I actually had a CD player and like, okay, I can buy this one.
yeah.
Um, but as I said, when you're doing that, what are you contemplating about? How do you go forward? Did you start thinking about being? You said did you start working behind to help
Yeah,
Heavy or?
that was later on. That was like after Nothing But Love. After Nothing But Love, I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, this is it. I don't even want to come back out and do this again. Like each time all of it was a task after that. You know what I'm saying? But this one last time, I couldn't bring myself to to doing it over again, you know. And then I went behind the scenes and started working, you know, behind the scenes, and you know, just the day-to-day stuff, whatever needed to be done, tour stuff, whatever, stuff like that.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that
And I
okay? Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that was what got me ready to move on and do other things, you know, just learning that.
So, because I know that I remember when you came out with Nothing But Love, it was announced that this would be the last album from Heavy D and the Boys, and I didn't know. I think from a fan, I did not know what was the reasons behind that. So, did you have a discussion and say this is it, I can't do it again, or what was?
It's a great question. It's a great question. It makes, you know, I didn't think about this for a while, but it was a moment. It was a moment. We were getting ready to put out, you know, Number Love, and we had, you know, you get ready to come out and you got to do promotions, right? And we got ready to do a promotional show at it was Atlantic City for one of these conventions in Atlantic City. It was a convention, and I got all of the clothes for everybody. Everything was done. I rehearsed, knew the routine. We was getting ready to go, and I had my daughter with me, my oldest daughter with me too, and she was young. She was about 3 or 4 by that time. And getting ready to go out, and I'm dressed to go out, and I say, "Yo, I can't do this. Can't do this. I'm sorry, Hev, and I just can't do it. I can't go out." And he was like, "What? Word?" And he was like, "Okay." And he just went out and did his thing. And that was the last. That was the last thing I did, you know, aside from the video or whatever. But after that point, that was the point when that was going to be the last Heavy D and the Boys album. You know, at
But
that moment.
was this before Nothing But Love? Because it was announced when the album was coming out that this was the last Heavy D and the Boys album. But
Yeah, I mean, we were getting ready to come out on the tour. It was probably prior to that. I mean, it's
okay,
probably prior to that. You know that everything that you hear isn't always the way it is. You know,
yeah.
like yeah.
Because no, I think back listening to Video Soul, they said that this is it was almost like the press release was this was the last Heavy D and the Boys album, almost like a way of, well, you need to get it because it's going to be the last time they're going to
Yeah,
come out as Heavy D and the Boys. So I know buying the album that was you guys were disbanding.
yeah.
Um,
This was prior to it being released. Like it was getting ready to come out. It
okay,
didn't come out yet, and we were doing the promotion for it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, and so the album, another big big album. I remember Black Coffee, and I didn't see you as Big Les was down. Black Coffee. That's another
Yeah.
massive track. Then what did you start to do? Think, okay, you decide to make a switch to say, "Have let me manage you," or what? How did that conversation?
Yeah, well, it's just natural for me to just because I know everything. We all learned all of this together. So, we went on tour. We did the last tour with what was tour? We toured with not Keith Sweat. I'm sorry, R. Kelly actually. 12 play tour. It was a 12 play tour. That was like the last tour that we went on for the most part. I think that was the last tour, and I just got all the production together for it. Got the route for the tour and all that stuff. Worked with the promoter. I think it was Al Heyman. Worked with the promoter to make sure our staging was right, our production was right. I had my brother bring T.R.O.Y the production equipment down from New York, the stage set from New York. We had a bunch of guys from Mount Vernon working with us. So it was just kind of making sure all those things, working firsthand with the touring, the agents, so that became my responsibility, which was natural because I already knew how to do it,
Yeah.
and I did all the clothes still did all the clothes for that too as well.
And so when the tour's finished and stuff, what do you turn yourself to start to try and do?
So naturally it's music because that's what I've been doing for most of my life. Like I may have had at that point 2 jobs outside of music. Like I worked at McDonald's and Heaven Hour camp counselors. I think I worked at GM for a summer. And other than that, that was it. So I think I started finding groups and trying to manage groups. I didn't put anybody out, but I got a couple of little, deals, development deals. So I started doing that, and then I got into some promotions, and then I went to work at Motown for Andre Ferrell.
So yeah. how So I spoke to Jimmy about that, but from your point of view, as a fan, I was like, I wasn't happy with from Uptown to Motown. I think one reason because you already had a hot label, and I thought in my head, I thought, was this because Bad Boy was doing bigger than it was becoming the hottest label, so he needed to.
It was the hottest label.
Yeah, it was blown up, and I almost felt because I said I'm a fan looking in, thinking that Uptown, because Jodeci had the whole Suge Knight and all that stuff, and so it almost felt as if I've got a chance to go to a bigger label and stuff, and the whole from Uptown to Motown. What was it for you? What did you when he called you up? What was your thoughts and
Well, when I heard it happening, because at the same time, Hev was also becoming the CEO of Uptown. At that same time, around a little bit after that, he became the CEO of Uptown. But I called Andre. I found out about the move. I was like, "Yo, Dre, what's up? I want to go with you." Eddie was already coming, and I said, "Look, bro, I know this inside and out. And we didn't started this from the bottom. We didn't figured all this out. So like who else on your team knows as much as I know? Like I learned everything at the same speed you learned it, and we learned it without no manual. So what's up?" So he brought me in, and being in the studio and understanding music and understanding the development of it, because now you learn and you're learning as you go along what a radio single is, what an album cut is, how to do certain things in the studio from being in the studio for all these years now.
Yeah.
So it was pretty easy for me for the most part. And I had the Whitehead Brothers. That was my group. Whitehead Brothers was my group. I did their last.
I interviewed Kenny last week. Really nice guy.
Oh, really?
Kenny,
man, Kenny from Beauty, something else. But that boy, wild. He's a wild boy, wild, talented man. Yes.
So were you responsible for that the album that they came out with? And
the last one, I think it was the last one on Motown. I worked on that album. I did a couple songs with them on that album. Excuse me. But my group was Shades. I brought out this group called Shades. I signed this group called Shades. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They put a song out, Tell Me Your Name. What car do you drive? Now, the funny thing about this song is that Total, did they put out the same song? It's the same track, I think it was. I'm not sure. My memory's shot. Remember that. But this is where I met my partner, my business partner, Shannon Williams at the time. So she's Shannon Allen now. But she was part of this group called Shades. And so I put the group out, worked with the album, but then, like you were saying, that you wasn't down with that whole Uptown to Motown thing. And what happened was there was a lot of hype about it, but there was nothing was producing. Nobody was producing anything out of it. A lot of money spent, and nothing was really coming out of it. It was just a lot of money being spent for the most part. And maybe, maybe it was a competition thing, but not a competition thing, because Puffy was doing so great. And Andre wanted to come out and just, do it all over again, I guess, for the most part. But it didn't pop as well as we wanted it to pop. Yeah.
So now I think there are two sides to this. The first is that you've got your guy you grew up with running Uptown, but you decide to go to Motown. Did Hev not say, "Come on, I need you here"? Because you've been managing.
You know what? He didn't say it. I'm gonna just keep it 100 to you. He didn't say it. I don't know why. And this is one of the questions I never even asked him. But I was cool where I was at with Andre. I was cool because me and Eddie were there. Eddie and I were there. So I was cool. I was working and I was doing pretty good for the most part. So I don't know. I couldn't answer that question.
What did you learn in Motown? How long were you guys there for before?
I was there for about a year or so, maybe a little more than a year before I left. Well, actually, I got fired. Andre had spent so much money, he had to, now you can't keep everybody. Now people got to go because there's money being spent, checks in. So then people gradually started leaving, going, whatever. But I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about myself, working in a group, inside of a group, and you're kind of like the back guy. And I'm a humble person. We're all humble people. And there's no need for me to toot my own horn. I know what I've done. I know what I do. I know who I am. I know my worth. But you don't really know it all the time when you got four other guys with you. It isn't until you by yourself and you stand on your own that you realize how dope you are. You know what I'm saying? You are. Collectively as a group, we were dope. What I did for the group, the imaging and the branding of the group, that was dope. But who thought that, or who knew that? And I didn't think like that. I just thought that this is what I needed to do because this is what I had always done for the group. And what people have jobs, specific jobs for that now. People get hired as a stylist now. Like there was no stylist back then. Later on down the line, you realize how dope you are when you actually, by yourself standing there and you're creating stuff. So
I mean, I think the Motown stuff, as I said, it was disappointing for us seeing that happen. So, but when you leave Motown, what do you end up doing?
So I left Motown and I got into some promotions, started doing promotions. Early on, I don't say I brought my brother in, but I helped him get in, and he started. My brother, his name is Greg Baker. He worked at Universal, DreamWorks, Sony, and so I started working with him, helping him with his promotions. I actually started doing I created a promotion team myself. I went out. I worked with Def Jam, and I went on what is it called, the Family Values Tour. So I brought a bunch of guys out. We did promotions on the road with them. So I did a few things, and then I felt like I needed to get away from music altogether. You know, I felt like it wasn't serving the same thing it served early on for me. I felt like there were things happening and people doing things for money that, you know, you just shouldn't do for money, you know. You do this because you love it, you know, but you shouldn't screw over people or mess over people. And, you know, when you get older, you start seeing a lot of those things, you know, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I got completely away from music. And I didn't do anything for a little bit. And then I started coaching my nephew's baseball team.